Superman 2025. Are we excited for this? I'm going to ask you right now. Are we excited for this?
Not anymore. I mean, I
Not
never
anymore.
was, to be fair,
Never
but
were. You never were.
yeah,
Let's be
I
honest.
never was, but I was
You,
I was open to the possibility that it might be okay
mhm.
for a while. But yeah, now with the rumors that are coming out that have seemingly been confirmed, I I don't
Yeah.
have a whole lot of interest. I thought it would, of the, competition in the superhero realm for the year, be the one that comes out on top. That still might be the case, but at this point it might be Captain Black, Falcon America. It might be the highest making superhero movie between Marvel and DC, because I don't think Baby Steps is making shit.
Baby Steps is, I've said it before, Baby Steps tops out between 400 and 500 million.
So
I
right
think,
about in the same range.
yeah, I think that's where Baby Steps tops out because it might have a semi-strong start, but it's going to get shat on when it comes up. That's a discussion have later. Um, so right now, with the leaks we got at the beginning of the week. Now, I talked about this on Mondays with Sam and Devil, but so I'll rehash my points right now. Essentially, what we learned was that James Gunn is making YouTubers the villain because Lex Luthor is making Superman sad by hashtagging him to death online and social media. That's what's happening.
This is a very RTD move.
Very. And we talked about this all, so we're not gonna go into why this is bad for the movie. That I've already had that discussion, and we're past that. I'm asking this right now. At this point, with everything we know, I'm talking the cast, what little, and we know, Jed, what do we know of this story really?
Not a whole lot. I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah, we know that Superman is sad because of online social media hate. He's super shit. Hashtag super shit. That's being memed in many ways right now. Then at the same time, he's got to deal with fake Justice League. He's getting in fights with Ultraman for reasons that we think Ultraman is a possible Bizarro being controlled by Lex Luthor. And there's a kaiju, and at some point in the movie, there's a giant space eyeball shooting up the city while he's getting hugs from Lois. And Crypto, he's going to get beat up, and Crypto's going to pull him to the Fortress of Solitude, where quippy robots are going to put him back together. That's what we know of this movie.
Sounds like shit.
Now, I'm not claiming that we need to know every aspect of what's going on here. I'm not claiming that. I don't need the trailer. I don't need a synopsis to tell me everything. But I'd like to know what the main idea of this movie is. You know, once upon a time, we knew Superman is fighting to save the day, but here comes Lex Luthor. He's trying to damage his reputation by bringing together a fake League of Heroes and a bunch of extra villains to make his day bad. You know, that kind of shit. We don't even have that, do we?
Not that I'm aware of.
We have one crappy trailer. We have two semi-mini clip trailers, which makes him look like wide-eyed while he's flying through icebergs, and then Crypto being a bad dog and yoinking him to the Fortress of Solitude. So we don't know anything about this movie. We don't know the story. So you add that in. You add in this cluster F of a cast. It's a bloated cast, right?
It's way too big for the start of a cinematic universe and of one of the biggest character in DC, I'd say, at least arguably top two.
Batman, yeah. Batman.
Yeah, arguably in top three superheroes all across the board, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Batman, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman.
Yeah. So just a massive character starting out a new cinematic universe, and you're adding in all these distractions from him. It's a recipe for failure. Marvel had it right. They started out with the best character they could start with, Iron Man, and they just focused on him. Yeah, they had a little Easter eggs to other characters, but it's not like the Avengers was already formed and it's like, hey, here's these 20 other characters you've never met and we want you to care about for some reason. And yeah, it didn't start with the second, third tier versions of these characters. It's not like Iron Man started and Sam Wilson's Captain America showed up and said, hey, what you doing, Iron Man? You shouldn't be doing this. It's asinine. I really
Yeah.
believe that all these decisions, everything I hear about this movie, with the exception of Cornswallow's casting,
Mhm.
uh, it's fine, I guess. I don't have anything necessarily against it at this
I
point.
I mean, the casting, I have not been a fan of the casting overall. I have found it to be a little weak here and there, but um, it, I felt like at least for some of the looks they've been trying with the casting,
Hmm.
uh,
I
and
hate
but
his suit.
oh yeah, the suit is a disaster. It's a complete disaster. But point is, you add all these problems we have with sad Superman again. What happened to Hope? No, we got sad Superman, which the leaks now tell us he's sad because of online trolling. Jed, on my own friends have been trolling me all day today. All right, am I super sad? No.
Yes.
Okay, I'm dying inside, but I don't let it show. I'm dying inside, but I don't let it show. Um, but this movie is a disaster waiting to happen. So with all the evidence piled up, now there are people out there who have trust, or at least a little hope and faith left that there might be something in this. But I'm going to ask you, yeah, Jay Fraser, we heard they canceled the Sergeant Rock movie. They canceled that because I think they know they've got a problem with this movie and it's going to sink the DCU. And I ask you this question now. Do we have any reason to trust that James Gunn can pull this off, make a Superman movie?
I don't whatsoever. And
No.
even when he was initially announced, I like the idea of an actual creative person being in charge of a cinematic universe. That part I did like, but I started to lose faith in him the moment he announced that he would himself be directing Superman. Because as much as I respect a lot of James Gunn's other work, it's all in the same
Mhm.
vein. Is irreverent comedy is kind of his way to go, and that's perfect for Guardians of the Galaxy. Love the Guardians of the Galaxy films, especially the first one. But
Mhm.
that style, his style, that I've never seen him be able to really contradict or do something different, doesn't work for Superman. I don't know if
Mhm.
any director these days has a style that would lend itself to Superman or be allowed
Oh,
to give that
yeah.
style to Superman. Because we don't
Yeah.
need dark and gritty like Man of Steel. Zack Snyder was a terrible choice,
Mhm.
especially in the writing. Visuals were fine. I think Zack Snyder's a great visual director, but he should never
Mhm.
touch a script ever
I
again in
agree.
his entire life.
I agree.
But I don't want dark and gritty Superman. I want Americano. I want someone who just goes hope. And the whole
Mhm.
film is about hope. And they tried to do that with this one, but with everything we hear about it, it's superficial marketing that it's about hope. So I don't know if anyone could do Superman. Honestly, be allowed to do Superman, even if their style lended itself to the style of Superman. But yeah, James Gunn was the wrong person to direct Superman. And I know he helped a lot with the overall plan over at Marvel, especially in Phase 3. So he might be a good big picture guy, but he should have recused himself from this film. That's the moment I lost hope for him.
Yeah, because like you said, he doesn't have it in him. James Gunn is not a genuine person. He is a quirky weirdo who might be something more based upon his past actions. He doesn't have that hope that you just talked about in him. I don't think he does. Because you look at this, what I see here is like you said it perfectly a few minutes ago. This is RTD. This is Russell T Davies being pissy at fans for rejecting him and how he is now. And
Which
go ahead, no, go ahead.
which of all people shouldn't be James Gunn when Marvel was firing him, when everyone was saying bad shit
Mhm.
about him? His fans were the ones who carried him through and
Yeah,
kept his reputation good enough that he could do Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and go on to DC. The fans should be the last people that James Gunn especially should be attacking.
yeah.
It's disingenuous. Like it feels like a betrayal. I was never one who was out there championing for him, but if I
Mhm.
had been, I'd feel betrayed by him. Honestly, the people
Mhm.
that kept his career alive when a shitstorm was coming down upon him are the first people he attacks.
Yep. And listen, I'm not going to call myself a mega James Gunn fan. I wasn't defending him either, but I wasn't canceling him
Hmm.
then. And when it was announced that he was going to be the head along with that other dude, the head of the DCU,
Hmm.
the evidence is out there, videos, streams, there's receipts. I thought as a studio head, it was a good move because James Gunn does know how to make movies.
Mhm.
He is a creative individual. He knows how to write. He understands the creative process. He knows how to get the best out of actors and actresses. He knows how a movie needs to be made. He knows how, if he's not the one directing it, to step back and not note a director to death. He understands this shit. So I thought from that angle, man, this is a good choice. He does like comics. He does like superheroes, and he'll understand how to do this. But then it was announced he was doing this Superman movie. Then he fired Henry Cavill, who deserved one more chance to be Superman with a good script. He did that stuff, and I thought right away, no, that was the first red flag for me. Those two red flags: fire Henry Cavill, and he says, "I'm going to write the Superman movie." And I thought, no, you don't have that kind of faith and hope and goodness in you. You're quirky, you're weird, and also you write ensemble movies. That is what James Gunn does. James Gunn does ensemble movies. And what does this movie look like, Jed?
It's an ensemble movie.
Yeah.
It's well, what is the Guy Gardner team called? Is it the Justice Society?
The Justice Society of, I don't know, something.
I think there's the Justice Society. I might be thinking of Black Adam, but they're not the Justice League. I know that.
No, they're not the League. We're making fun of them, calling them like bad Justice League.
Yeah.
That's me being mean.
The movie should be called Justice Society, from what it sounds like.
And we've got characters, and here's the thing also. Sam and Devil and I talked about this beginning of the week. You've got characters in this that make no sense at this point. Even though this is a living in world that's been going for a while, because this is Superman into his career. Clark has been Superman for a while. You've got Guy Gardner, the most hated Green Lantern in DC history, out of a human Green Lantern. And we do have a Hal Jordan and a Jon Stewart in the DCU, but they're off in a TV show that is filming right now, or maybe it's done filming.
Well, and Hal Jordan's past his prime.
Yeah, it's going to be a handover show to Jon Stewart. Now, that's not a horrible thing because Jon Stewart is a badass. My second favorite Green Lantern after Hal Jordan, or sometimes my first, depending on what my mood I'm in. I love Jon Stewart. Point is, though, you've got the two most popular Green Lanterns, and I think that's a fair statement to make. Hal and Jon are most popular. You've got them off on a show separated from all of this. Without doing space shit. They're doing a true detective show on Earth. Jed, a Green Lantern covers an entire sector of the galaxy. Space cop. Green Lanterns are space cops. And you've got 3 humans. They're all on freaking Earth right now. How is not at least one of them out there doing their job in the galaxy? So it boggles my mind. So you got that. You've got Hawkgirl, and it's Shiera Hall. But which Shiera Hall is it? Is it reincarnated, or is it Thanagarian? From the look of it, from the beating she's going to take, it's reincarnation, which makes her D-Team. Reincarnated Shiera Hall is D-Team. And if it's reincarnated Shiera Hall, where is Carter Hall? That's when it's the reincarnation aspect, they have to be paired together because they're locked into the cycle of reincarnation from ancient Egypt. If it's Thanagarian Shiera Hall, that's alien coming to Earth. Don't necessarily need Hawkman. Hawkgirl on her own is just fine, as Bruce Timm, Paul Dini verse showed us. That works okay on its own. And then you could go the route of John and Shiera having a romance. That fun. I love that. That's such a good romantic relationship arc. I love it. Good DC when it was good. The point is, you've got this stuff going on right now. And where's the hype? We should be excited for this. No, you've got too many freaking superheroes. Then they're going to toss in Metamorpho. Is it villain Metamorpho or is it hero Metamorpho? If it's hero Metamorpho, we're skipping over his villain arc. Then we've got Lex Luthor. We've got Ultraman, probably Bizarro. Rumor has it Millie Alcock's going to show up as Supergirl at the end of the movie too. She just finished her shots with Jason Momoa as Lobo. They just finished her movie doing that. That's going in the can. We got Lois Lane. We got Race Swap Perry White. We do have a ginger Jimmy Olsen, so good on that.
Yeah.
But how many people have I just listed off of this movie?
Too many.
When all I needed was Clark Kent, Kal-El, Superman. So we didn't, and I'm going to throw Bug a bone because he's one of the only guys that has faith left in this. But Bug said he would have been happy as a hardcore Superman fan with a villain or his partial villain. Like throw Toyman in there, throw other Superman villains in there. Don't give us Lex Luthor. Don't go to Bizarro right away as a fake Ultraman. Don't do any of that. Give us some of Superman's unique villains. Give me Toyman. I mean, I shit on Bug when he says that, but it's a fair argument to make. Give me Toyman. Give me Metallo. Give me Parasite.
Yeah, an obscure one.
Yeah, do Livewire. Do Killer Frost. Do the characters that have crossed his path as villain team ups like that. Do that shit. We don't need Zod again. We don't need Lex Luthor again. We definitely don't need to go Doomsday right away again. And even though I would love it, this is what I want. Mongol. I want Warworld. That's what I want. But I know that's too quick and too soon. And we don't need Brainiac. That's too quick and too soon. Why didn't you know what they should have done? They should have put Momoa, Lobo, and Supergirl. Should have had Momoa, Lobo in this movie. That would have been good. If it's just a simple Clark and Lobo for a fight for literally 3/4 of the movie, tearing up Metropolis, and then something they're forced to, and then Lobo, like maybe Lobo's contract gets reneged and something worse comes along, then they got to team up at the end. Jed, that sounds way more interesting than what we got right now.
Oh, yeah, significantly better and much more tight focus. We need a tight focus to introduce into a universe. This is overwhelming for people. Yeah. Franchises are so bloated these days. Imagine someone coming in to watch Thunderbolts, never seen a Marvel movie. They'd never be able to get into it because it'd be so overwhelming. With entries into cinematic universes, you need a tight focus, build it slowly, say, hey, let's just focus on one character. You don't need to worry about anybody else. Don't think about any other movie. Just focus on Superman. Once you're familiar with him, we'll do another movie focused on somebody else. And once you have the foundations for him, we can do these big crossover movies like The Avengers or Captain America 3, where everyone has the foundation. We know these characters. We love these characters. And in their small scenes, we already know why they're making the decisions that they're making. And we were able to gradually build up to that point. This is just... I think the best word for it is overwhelming. Even if it's written well, the average person's not going to know the deep lore about Hawkgirl or Guy Gardner or anything like that, and they'll just glaze over, honestly, watching the movie, being like, am I supposed to know these people? Am I supposed to care? Are these good people? And is this connecting to something? Am I missing something else? I feel like there's other movies I should have seen first. You need a narrow focus, and Lobo versus Superman, and with Lois Lane and maybe a couple Daily Planet people. That's it.
I just altered my thing. Somehow Lex gets a galactic thing. He gets a whole some sort of galactic computer where he can put a hit out on Superman, and Lobo takes the contract. Because Lobo's a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bounty hunter. Then you could get Lex in there without Lex being too much. And then that works. There it is. It's a very simple. Is that simple enough for you, Jed? Lex Luger uses an intergalactic transmission to put a bounty out on Superman. And Lobo answers it. And Lobo comes to Earth. And we get knockdown, drag out fight with some good story in there where Clark is trying to understand Lobo, trying to convince him not to do this. But Lobo, the main man, doesn't want to hear that because Lobo's all about the money. Lobo doesn't give a shit. But then as soon as something goes wrong and maybe Lex decides to renege on the bounty, as soon as, and that's lore accurate Lobo. As soon as the bounty goes away, if he's not getting paid, Lobo don't give a shit. Then Lobo stops. Lobo goes his own way. I mean, there's a nice simple story in there, and then maybe something bigger at the end happens, and they have to fight together. We get a mini team up, and we fight something cool at the end. That doesn't need to be a big bad, just something big and nasty that happened. Well, like maybe they're fighting, takes them over near Star Labs, and they're working on some bad interdimensional portal, and there's a tear, and something big and nasty comes through, and they fight the team up to beat it. Simple, so simple. And then look what you've done. Then you've set up Superman. You set up Superman's surrounding characters, Lois Lane, Jimmy, all that kind of stuff. You set up Lex Luthor without him being annoying and too much on screen, and then you've set up Lobo. in an interesting way. And then you move on. No connected to anything else. Didn't have to do anything else. A nice contained movie where you drop some characters in that can be moved on. That is, how easy would that have been, Jed? We just came up with this in the past 5 minutes.
Oh,
And
writing a Superman movie should be easy. Honestly, it should be a pretty straightforward film. Don't need a whole lot of complexity. Just focus on the spirit of Americano, and you can write this in a weekend. Like, we could legitimately have written a better movie in a weekend.
Yeah,
and it's easy.
Yeah, because you don't need to make Superman overly complicated. Superman doesn't need to go through growth arcs. He's Superman. Outside of an origin where he's coming to terms with himself, which they've done too many times already. Once Clark is an experienced superhero, once he is Superman, the only story you need to tell is maybe how much is he holding back sometimes. How much is he holding back? Maybe he's trying to fit in. Maybe have a little bit of a work-life balance, being Clark, being Superman. Maybe there's a little turmoil where Lois is getting tired of Superman taking up all the time. She wants more Clark on the Superman. That could be a little subplot context story in there, which would work, which isn't that's not complicated either. That's basic bitch storytelling writing. But no, I'm James Gunn. I'm going to zip it. I'm going to pistol over everything and throw shit on there and say, oh, look, look what I've concocted. Aren't I great? I'm bringing in quirky shit. Because that's what I do. I'm James Gunn. Look, it's a giant team up, all this stuff. I'm James Gunn. Look, here comes. We saw it in the robots. The James Gunn humor is there. It's going to be there, and it's going to smack you in the face. And you go, dude, don't smack me in the face like that. I'm going to punch you. That's what it's going to be. And I think that's what we're going to get. And what it's going to end up being, now, I think it's going to be a mess, but it's going to do better than Baby Steps. That's what I think. But if Static is still here, dinosaurs win. Dinosaurs still win because, Jed, we have, outside of the announcement of that trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth, have we heard a single controversial thing about Jurassic World Rebirth in the past 3 months?
No, not really. I mean, people watch the trailer and be like, yeah, this looks dumb, but that's not controversy. That's the closest thing.
And that is meaningless because dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Very easy to wrap your head around. Very easy to climb that hill. Dinosaurs. Go watch it. So it's and so there it is. I think we've made a good case why James Gunn is not to be trusted. In this little part right here, we have written a tighter, more succinct, more understandable Superman story than possibly what he's going to crap out in 2 months. 2.5 months. All right, there it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.